Today we're making delicious spaghetti with meatballs, but with a twist you probably haven't tried before. First, we'll need a bunch of red onions and we'll dice them into small cubes. Next, toss the diced onions into a pot with a big chunk of butter. Heat it up and start caramelizing them. To speed things up, add a splash of water and a teaspoon of salt. This helps the onions soften faster and release their natural sugars. Plus, it lets you use slightly higher heat without worrying about burning them. Next, slice 3 garlic cloves thinly and add them to the pot. Normally, you'd avoid adding garlic so early because it can burn and turn bitter, but with the constant addition of water, there's no need to worry. Just keep adding a little water whenever it evaporates, and in about 15 minutes you'll have perfectly caramelized onions. Once the onions turn brown, we're done caramelizing. Add one final splash of water and let them cool slightly. Then mix in some panko breadcrumbs. The panko will soak up all that amazing caramelized onion flavor and become soft. Now grab a large mixing bowl, toss in your ground beef and crack in 1 egg. Season it with salt and chili flakes. You can add other spices or herbs if you like, but I prefer to keep the flavors simple so the caramelized onions really stand out. Next, mix in your panko onion mixture and grate in a generous handful of Parmesan or Pecorino cheese. I personally prefer Pecorino, but both cheeses add a nice umami flavor when we fry the meatballs later. Now use your hands to mix everything well. You want a uniform texture so the meatballs stick together nicely. Prepare a small bowl of water and lay out a sheet of parchment paper on your work surface. Wet your hands and start rolling the meatballs. The water prevents the mixture from sticking to your hands, making it much easier to form the balls. You can make smaller ones if you like, but I'm all about big meatballs. And let's be honest, it's less work. If you want to be precise, you can weigh them, but I just eyeball it. Heat a generous splash of olive oil in a large pan, enough to coat the bottom. Add your meatballs and sear them for a few minutes on each side until they're nicely browned. We're not aiming to cook them all the way through here, as they'll finish cooking in our tomato sauce later. Once they're browned to your liking, remove them from the pan. As you can see, the meatballs are nowhere near fully cooked. Now add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste to the pan and use it to deglaze all those flavorful bits stuck to the bottom. Next, pour in a large can of whole peeled tomatoes. I always rinse out the can with a splash of water to get every last bit. Add a teaspoon of salt and sugar, then mash the tomatoes into a sauce. Canned tomatoes are packed with flavor since they are typically harvested when perfectly ripe. The sugar enhances their natural fruity taste, giving us a simple tomato sauce that's rich and vibrant. Once your sauce is heated up, place the meatballs back in a pan and let them simmer in the sauce for 10 to 15 minutes until they're fully cooked. Then set them aside. Now it's time to cook the spaghetti. Salt your water until it's as salty as the sea, then cook your pasta in it. I'm pretty sure you've cooked pasta before, so no need for a tutorial, just follow the instructions on the package. If you're planning to use a small pot like I did, you'll need to gradually press the spaghetti down as they soften in the water. Just be careful not to burn yourself in the process. Once the pasta is done, it's time to plate everything up. Top your spaghetti with the sauce and meatballs. Don't forget the extra splash of sauce on top. Tear up some fresh basil leaves and grate over some Parmesan or Pecorino. As you can probably tell, I'm a bit of a Pecorino junkie. And that's it, we're done. You can find all the measurements and ingredients in the description below. I hope you love this unique take on meatballs as much as I do. If you enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to like and subscribe for more delicious dishes. Guten Appetit!